we go then, we've just had the Spanish Grand Prix and I'm back once again to give my thoughts on the race. A comment on the track changes first. Thank God they're finally removed that final chicane. It is so much better without it. Thank you to the track people and F1 for finally relenting on that. Let's start with the race winner Max Verstappen though. Complete domination. Led every practice session, pole by a few tenths, race win by 24 seconds with the fastest lap after leading every lap. And I called it, by the way, when I was talking to my brother on Sunday morning. I said that Max will win the race by at least 20 seconds. And he wins it by 24. 53 points in the lead of the championship. Honestly, place your bets. What race will Max win the championship in? Red Bull are just in a completely different postcode with that guy. They've got everything right, from the driver to the car to the race engineer to mechanics / other engineers to strategists to pit stops. Everything. That is difficult to beat when a driver and their team around them have everything just correct and running exactly as it should be, like a well-oiled machine. Even difficult for the other side of the garage to beat, as Checo's championship challenge continues in the form of beginning fine and then going downhill. I said this last weekend and I'll say it again. Checo has got to win a race soon. He needs to start outperforming his teammate or else Max will run away with this thing. But I will say, good comebacks from him from 11th to the top 4. He shouldn't have had to do that comeback, but my point remains. A great day for Mercedes, meanwhile. Wasn't exactly clear in Monaco if their upgrades were working because, you know, Monaco, but they've really seemed to be working for them and they had a great race with a double podium. Hamilton also getting driver of the day and Russell continuing to entertain everyone on his radio and with a great comeback to that P3 from P12 after he also made a shock exit in Q2 along with Checo. Mercedes are currently at the moment looking strongest for that P2 in the Constructors' Championship. I know we're early in the season, but I'm going to talk about this anyway. Because their drivers, both of them are always there or thereabouts, around about the top 6. And that you need that kind of consistency from both drivers and also the car. Mega job from Mercedes. If only they were a bit closer to Red Bull in terms of performance, and we could have a great fight on our hands. Can I say I'm too sure what happened to Aston Martin this weekend? They weren't really on a war. They weren't great, they weren't terrible, they were just there. Alonso was strangely off weekend and they only qualified 8th and finished 1 place higher only after coming close to what could have been a big crash with his former teammate, but it wasn't. But he was behind Stroll, who really picked it up in qualifying and the race to outperform Alonso for the first time this season. I gotta hand it to Stroll. He had a pretty decent weekend after practice. Meanwhile at Ferrari, well, first of all, there was another special race suit, boots, and number design, and special edition other stuff. This time for Carlos Sainz, obviously, as it was his home race. And again, I like it. I like that Ferrari have done this with their drivers' home races this year. They also brought a big upgrade package as well. A rip to the bathtub side pods. You will be missed. Aside from that, though, look, Sainz scored points, which is nice for him at his home race, but I'll sum up Ferrari this way. After qualifying, my expectations were low. But holy fuck, I at least hoped it would be double points, but nope. That team has work to do. A lot of work to do, and my low expectations, of course, coming from the fact that Leclerc was out in Q1, with that car obviously had a problem. Fuck knows what was wrong with it, but something was obviously wrong with it. Then at McLaren, a new Lando Norris, who I will say did a great job in qualifying, and it was a great job from both McLarens in qualifying. I can't Norris would fall out the top 3 quickly in the race, but I did not expect it to happen so quickly off the start. Shame for him on that first lap incident between him and Hamilton, but if it's just a normal first lap racing incident that you may see sometimes. But that ruined his race. I feel like he could have been on for points if that contact did not happen. Maybe around the lower reaches of the points, but that's just one of those kind of what if things. Elsewhere at Alpine, another consistent weekend from them. Again, they're keeping up the consistency. It was a shame for Gasly getting those grid penalties, but shit happens and he did impede Sainz and Verstappen. If he didn't and did start P4, then he could have been scoring a few more points, but as I just said with Norris, that's just one of those what if sorts of things that comes with this sport. And Hulkenberg at Haas, he did a great job as well in qualifying, I will say. He did slip back in the race, of course, but given he's in a Haas with faster cars behind him, that was probably to be expected. But then as for Tsunoda's penalty, it's harsh and a shame for him to miss out on those points, but on whether he should have gotten or not, I am on the fence. And I have no comments on Williams or Alfa Romeo, by the way. A good race overall though. The track changes at that final corners, that has made a big difference, I think. Is that third sector is a lot more flowing now. It was a good race. If you ignore the fact that Verstappen dominated it, it was a good race. But of course, not every race you need to battle for the lead to be good. What did you think of the 2023 Spanish Grand Prix though? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.